If I could,
Take the picture!
Joining me now is the director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project and Lewis Black's co-star, Dale Ho. Dale, that must have been maybe the most fun you've had on the job.
It was a lot of fun. It was a tremendous pleasure to work with Lewis. But days like today are pretty fun, too, when you get the Supreme Court stepping in and stopping a voter ID law from going into effect in Wisconsin, and you get another judge in Texas stopping that state's ID law. So it's been a pretty good day, I'd say.
Well, yeah, I got to say, these federal judges do seem to be seeing those laws pretty clearly for what they are.
Well, you know, there was evidence at our trial that 300,000 voters didn't have, registered voters in Wisconsin didn't have one of these forms of ID, and that hundreds of voters in this election had already cast their ballots. And what the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals tried to do was let Wisconsin change the rules of the game in an election that was already underway. They were going to invalidate those ballots that had already been cast. And fortunately, the Supreme Court saw through that and realized that that was an absolutely crazy thing to do in the middle of an election.
And it seems as though you see these two courts going in this direction tonight. It's hard to imagine that's not where the momentum now is.
Well, it feels good, and I hope that I hope that you know, bears out to be the case. What we have from the Supreme Court today isn't a final ruling, though. I think we should make that clear. The question that was before the court was only whether or not this law in Wisconsin could be implemented in time for the November election. And the Supreme Court said no, not right now, but we're going to wait, and we're going to hear the merits of this case fully later. So we don't have a final ruling, and I think it would be silly to think that we have this thing in the bag right now. But it definitely buoys us and puts some wind in our sails.
Now, Lewis Black has written an open letter with your guidance to politicians who are trying to restrict voting rights. I'm going to read from it. I'm not going to do Lewis Black, okay? I'm just going to read from it. To all politicians who have ever tried to block access to voting, what the hell is the matter with you people? You need to get your head on straight. The cornerstone of this great country is the right to vote, and you should be fighting to make sure that every citizen who can vote does, but instead you're creating obstacles for voters. Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And I cannot read the rest of it, even with those little, you know, profanity stars in it.